Drew Alba alongside manager of the Walla Walla Sweets, Colby Watilo, for another edition of
Countdown with Colby.
For some reason there I almost blinked.
I know, it kind of seemed like you're a little rattled.
Really? Well, you picked me up.
Okay.
Like the hat.
Yeah, thank you. That's right.
Ready?
Yeah, it's a great night. It'll be fun.
It should be fun. I haven't seen the jerseys. Have you gotten a peek?
Yeah, they're cool. They're just kind of. I mean, they're meant to be replicas of what the Islanders wore for their 1 year here in their home white. So, yeah, they're pretty classic, which is fun. So it'll be a cool thing for the fans that are in attendance to get a look at.
Islanders moved from Hawaii and then came over here. I'm interested why they didn't change the name for their 1 year here.
I'm not sure,
because I don't think Walla Walla has any association with an island.
No, hundreds of miles.
We are very far away from an island. What would you name this team? What's the island instead of the Islanders? So that makes no sense. You get a minor league team, you move it over.
I don't know. I was
pretty good.
Yeah, the Sweets is good. I thought when they've done the wheat fielders in the past, that's kind of fun.
What's the story behind that?
I think it was a fictional thing. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool, and I've talked about it with Cody a little bit about trying to do like something that's like wine themed, as far as like having some sort of tie to that.
There should be some sort of way we get all the wine tourists to come to the ballpark. Offer some sort of wine festival.
There you go. That could be cool. That could be cool.
The Walla Walla wineries, that's a little...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's it. We'll see. We'll have to come up with something else.
That's kind of like, downtown when there's the sweet shop.
Yeah.
And people go in and they expect to get
have candy, yeah.
And I told Cody, just sell candy too.
That's fair.
I feel like that's
true.
Some free money.
Yeah, you bring in bitter trout, bring in some people that maybe not there for the baseball. Maybe they come to attend a game.
Yeah, that's called a 2-for-1.
Yeah, that's right.
Make money on the candy, and you can try to get them involved.
I love it.
Because, my grandparents thought it was a sweet shop because it says sweet shop. It seems a little...
Maybe it's a, if you know situation.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes maybe you do come, and then you come to the ballpark.
Yeah.
It's really close to downtown Borleski Stadium, kind of hidden away. The downtown Walla Walla, I feel like, kind of ends very suddenly.
Yeah.
And there's the highway, wheat fields, all of that. So It's a good way to get everyone involved. All right, I was talking to Isaac on Players Roundup. He let me know something that I never knew before. Apparently, the baseballs in college, the grips are different. Have you been aware of it?
The seams, yeah. The seams are... Seems like the seams in the West Coast League are a little high compared to what we play with in a standard college season. So
do you kind of let guys know this could be a thing? Because he was talking about how that actually does make a difference. Those little minutia details.
Yeah, it can definitely affect the way that a ball comes out of a pitcher's hand, and something they kind of have to get used to a little bit over time. And not something that we necessarily talked about before the season started, as it was something that I didn't even know was true until I picked up a West Coast League ball for the first time. So. Yeah, it can make a little bit of a difference, and maybe guys have to make the adjustment. At this point, I would assume that most guys are kind of adjusted in as best as they can be.
Baseball's baseball, but when you get guys with wood bats used to metal, different grips, pitch clock, little things kind of compiled together, does that kind of come into factor of some guys trying to adjust to the West Coast League style of baseball?
Maybe a little bit if there's certain things that are monitored. The wood bats is the big one for the offense, and yeah, I guess you could say the seams on the baseball for the pitchers, but I think that the impact that has on what the players do, I think, is a lot less than maybe the wood bats, versus the metal bats in the springtime. So, I think it has an impact on those guys, but I think the hitters are the ones that have to probably do the most adjusting on the wood bat side when it comes to when it's all said and done.
What was your experience with the wood bats when you were here?
It's a lot of the scouts like to use it that way because it really is a true test of a hitter, and so it's a tough jump to make. You just get away with a lot more with the metal bat. Your margin for error is a lot bigger. So here you have to be a little bit more fine. You have to have a better feel for the sweet spot on the bat if you want it to go, and so. I think it's beneficial because then you get back to this, the fall and your metal bat back in your hand, and all of a sudden it's like a plus 10 in your confidence and what your feel is at the plate.
It's kind of like MLB The Show. You get that little attribute plus up.
Yeah, exactly.
I was talking to Nikhil Beasley after the last Marion Barry series at In-N-Out when we were waiting for our burgers. He was 6 for 10 on the series. And he was down. I was like, "What's up, Nikhil?" He broke his bat up.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever broke a bat? That feeling's got to be $200 plus. I thought it was $100.
No, they're pretty expensive now. Yeah, 180 to 250 usually for some of the bats that guys are using. Yeah.
I mean, I understand you have to craft it and stuff. Have you ever broken a bat?
I'm sure I have. Yeah. Back in the day. So, but yeah, I had nothing really. I don't remember a certain instance of breaking a bat. I've probably broke one or two.
Sure, because a guy like Dom Cadiz, he broke his bat in Yakima, I think. Had to use TKs for a while there.
Yeah.
Now he's got a new piece of wood, though. So.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, a big game today against the Marion Berry Sweets, trying to even up the series. Coach, you win 2 of 3. In Salem, they take the first here. How do you respond and get game number 2?
I think for us, it was just yesterday was a bit of a clunker. I think from start to finish, exactly. That's baseball, and when it's as long a season as it is, you're gonna have games like that. You come off a big series win and kind of little lackadaisical maybe. We didn't compete the way we know we can. We didn't focus and play with the energy that we know we can play with, and so I think it kind of comes down to flipping all those things. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect and that we're expecting them to all be perfect, but I think just our competitiveness and our intensity that we bring to the game tonight, hopefully can be upgraded a little bit.
Third chance Owen Estabrook's going to come out of the pen?
I hope not. I really hope
You looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah.
Topping out at 71.
There you go. Yeah, down into the 70s. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, he did a job of...
little tip hat.
Yeah, right. He did what he needed to do to save our bullpen so we could have arms ready to go today. And so, yeah, he stepped up and helped us out in that way. And it's not a stepping up to help the team that most coaches would want to have happen frequently. But, that can go a long ways, right? We didn't have to use another arm outside of Jacob Talbot. And so... that was huge to make sure that we had the guys we needed today to go out and did a split in the first 2 games.
And you mentioned games like that happen, right? The long season, you're playing, almost 60 baseball games. A 9-1 loss, obviously not ideal, but how do you kind of just get rid of that? This is a team that we've beat twice.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tell the guys that and say, yesterday was yesterday, today's today?
Yeah, I think it started with basically before we even left the field last night of, hey, what we, the product we put on the field and what people came to watch was not present. That wasn't who we were or, and who we are as a team. And so we have to get back to it today when we show up. And, it started in our preparation today, making sure that our focus was there, making sure guys were doing what they needed to do to be prepared, to get their feet underneath them, to get their reps they needed to feel confident going in. And now we need to go out and play. And so I think that's the major adjustment is just getting back to playing the way we know we can play, and knowing that last night was a bit of a fluke, and now we bring it tonight.
Reimers out on the hill?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be great to have Ben back out there. Obviously had a in the middle game, and it's funny, right? Marion seeing the exact same lineup of arms basically as we saw him over a little about a week ago.
And yesterday started for the Berries the third time this week.
Yep, exactly, right? And their starter today, I think, was their game 3 guy, and so... I think it really just comes down to execution and can we make the plays behind him. He's got great stuff, but at the same time, they're going to have a scouting report. He's going to be a familiar arm that they've seen, and so can he execute? Can he make sure that the Berries earn everything that they get on the offensive side, and can we make the plays behind him to make sure that we're doing our part as a defense as well?
When mistakes happen out on the field, from a pitcher, obviously, it's got to be super frustrating, but how do you almost flush that as well and say, now I got to get 4 outs this inning, this is just the way it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think for them, it's continuing to do the job, and you have the ball in your hand. So it's the tone and the presence starts with them. It's if an error happens or something like that happens, it's you can think of it as, hey, oh shoot, now that the burden's on me to have to get 4 outs, or you can think about it as, hey, it's my job to pick that guy up and get him another ground ball and try to get a double play out of it. And so, I think it's controlling what you can. It's competing pitch to pitch and not worrying about the things that are out of your control or the things that have already happened. Don't let that affect what you're doing on the next pitch. Because if you let that bleed into the next pitch, then, chances are it's going to not go your way.
Sure. I'm not going to talk for anyone on the team, but I know for myself, I'm starting to count down the days. We got 11 games left, and you can look at it as that way, but you can also kind of spin that and say, we got 11 games left, right? We're on the precipice of a playoff push, 11 games to play with everyone here. How do you kind of look at that and say, we got to relish every opportunity to get better and build connections and have fun out here?
Yeah, it's 11 games is, we're almost counting them on just our fingers, right? It's coming down to it, which is crazy to think of how fast it's went by. And, just trying to have the guys be present where their feet are. A lot of guys are starting to turn that page to the fall of where am I going to live? And, am I signed up for the right classes? And when do we start fall ball? And, which is all definitely valid and appropriate thoughts for them to be going through as they try to process the end of the summer. But, when we show up to the ballpark, can we be invested where our feet are? Can we be plugged into what we're doing as a team? Just excited to be here, enjoying the time that they do have with guys. And at the same time, it's, hey, for 11 more times, can you go out and give it your all, right? 11 more nights, really 12 nights total if you think about the one off night that we have. I mean, that's literally all that's left between now and the end of the season. So we're under 2 weeks from if we don't put things together, right, it's the end of the year, right, and there's nothing else to play for. So over these next 11 games, can we empty the tank? Can we leave it all out there? Can we focus one pitch at a time and put our best effort night in and night out?
Elks lose yesterday, so it's still just a half game. You're half game back on that first wild card spot. Right behind you, obviously, the Berries half game back on the Sweets, and then the Drifters are right behind them as well. You got 4 teams all battling. 2 are going to be left out. Do you use that as some sort of motivation?
Yeah, I think, of course, we want to make sure that we're putting ourselves in a good position. We have a tough stretch, right? 9 straight to end it, 6 of those on the road, and so we want to make sure we use these next 2 nights to put ourselves in the best scenario that we can, give ourselves a cushion, if you want to say that, in some ways of making sure that we have our safety nets in place where we give ourselves the best opportunities to go out and win and put ourselves in a playoff spot. So, yeah, we're looking at it as motivation. I think still, again, trying to take it one day at a time and focus on tonight. And, it really comes down to if you focus one series at a time and you can go out and win a series every single time that you have a 3-game set, then we're going to find ourselves right where we want to be at the end.
Third base coach Leo Rivera's words, "Be where your feet are," just ringing through my head.
Yeah, right.
All right, this brings us to our question of the day with manager of the Wall Sweets, Colby Watilo. Coach, we don't have a bobblehead night, but if we did, what guy on the team would make a bobblehead night?
A bobblehead.
What would be funny? Maybe someone that's played well this season. Get fans out to the ballpark. There's a few obvious answers, I think, but
I don't know. I feel like you should have a bobblehead night for everybody. I think just a team photo bobblehead. Everyone's
there's like 40 bobbleheads.
Yeah, right.
That'd be an expensive giveaway.
That'd be awesome. Get the fans out to the ballpark, I think.
Nakoa, he's a hometown guy.
Yeah, Nakoa, the hair should be cool. That's a good answer. That would be fun.
Dom is.
I think Dom, yeah, or like Lando, some of those guys. I think Coach Rivera bobblehead would be pretty funny. I think we could get the people could get behind that with him also having the ties to
Right.
I think Colby Solomon has earned it being a 4th-year Sweet, and he's probably earned himself a bobblehead night or something like that. So, yeah, there's some options out there.
How about you, Elijah, and Leo in your Battle of the Basin picture?
Oh, there we go.
You got all
the belt. Yeah, there we go. Maybe next year, maybe when Yakima comes to town at Cody Miller.
Yeah,
so
at Cody Miller. It's pretty cool night tonight, though.
Yeah,
Islanders is gonna be good vibes. Maybe some Aloha themes. Who knows? It's also a big game against the Marion Berries. 3 games, lost the first one, trying to even up the series today. Tomorrow's game, the closer, and then an off day, and that's the last time I'm going to be saying
that's right.
The entire season. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's 18 hours. Just make sure you're really.
Yeah, we'll see. Try to use it up the best as we can. So try to
get your Sleeping Beauty in because you got 9 games.
Yeah, hopefully we're able to. I do like being on the road in some capacities. I think it helps guys kind of get into a rhythm a little bit. A little. But, not a little more prevalent maybe in the spring ball season, but a little less distraction, a little bit more routine based when it's kind of the same for the most days, outside of the getaway day. And so I think that does help. But I'll be excited for that off day and get some time with my family.
Yeah, go to sleep. You go to the gym, take a nap, get food. It's kind of the same thing day in and day out. And the day in and day out is starting to end. The Sweets have just 11 games left, half game behind the Bend Elks, half game up on the Marion Berries. Of course, 2 more games against the Berries, off day, and then a 9-day stretch to end the season. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. Go Sweets.